Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Ruchi Dubey Chaturvedi, Associate Professor working in Jai Hind College, affiliated to University of Mumbai, Mumbai, India. I will be presenting a module to you today. The title of the module is Senior Citizens as Adult Learners. The module has been designed by Dr. Thate. I will be presenting the module on her behalf. We start with a quote of Socrates, which says, "I cannot teach anything to anybody. I can make them think." The above quote is very applicable to adult learners. When you look at who are adult learners, these are the type of people, the category of people who have spent 4 to 5 to 6 decades of their life learning. They have managed their life, they have got wide experience. So you would assume that when it comes to learning, they would be better than children, they would be better than youth, they would be better than adolescent. But somehow this is not happening. Now why this is not happening is because for learning you require two things. A person needs to have curiosity and person needs to have patience. When you talk of patience of adults is much more than what you find in youth and children. Problem is in the curiosity part. Somehow the adults are not curious enough, they are not motivated enough to learn. Why this is so? Because they feel whatever situation they are in, it's a fantastic situation. They don't need to change anything. Why should they bother with the changes which are happening about them? The other related aspect is this, is they feel that they are going to make mistakes, they might not be able to cope up with the changes which are happening around them, and they somehow feel little self-conscious and ashamed of their declining abilities and their capabilities. This is what keeps the adult learner away from learning. Now, if you see what has happened in the past 2 decades, we have found that technology has changed tremendously, and because of globalization, the world has come closer and closer. Now, what has that resulted in? That has resulted in the fact that whatever data we want to access, sitting at home we can do that. We don't have to commute because there are many communication mediums available for us. Now, this is time, energy, effort saving. If you look at how does it impact the senior citizen, it offers them tremendous of opportunity where they can make their lives very comfortable, and it has opened the doors for them to explore whatever resources, whatever information the world is offering now. They might not have got this kind of opportunity and resources when they were young, but somehow whatever important thing they require to cope, adapt and learn with this changing world, it is somehow not happening. There is a lacuna somewhere. There is a simple case which can explain it beautifully. It's the case of Mr. Rao. Now, Mr. Rao, when he retired, his colleagues from his department gave him a smartphone. Very happily he took it home, and for a couple of days it was lying untouched. When his 24-year-old son volunteered that, "Shall I shift your SIM card from an old phone to the new phone?" he said, "No. Do you think I can't do it myself?" And he refused to take the services of his own son. For the last 6 months, the mobile is lying completely unused. He has done nothing about doing anything about using that mobile. There is a reluctance to learn. He doesn't want to access it because there are many aspects which he feels he will not be able to cope. Now, why is this reluctance there in adult learners? There are many physical and psychological limitations which they face. Exactly what Mr. Rao might be thinking. Now, when you look at aging, it has got a lot of social and economic challenge in the globe nowadays. The 21st century has seen a boom in technology. It has seen a boom in medicine where the lifespan of people because of good medical care has increased. In 2000, the lifespan of people around the world was 62 years. In 5 years from that time, it has become 69.2 years. And if you structure the population according to the age bracket, you will find initially the structure according to age bracket was like a pyramid, like a triangle, with maximum people down below in the bracket which comprised of children and newborn. With the lifespan increasing now, that concept has changed. You arrange people in an age bracket and now you are getting a rectangular figure. Excuse me. Rectangular figure clearly tells you now there are equal number of people in various age brackets. That means the world is facing a challenge where you have enough middle age and people who are in late adulthood around there to use. It's an important resource for a country. In our own country, 9% of the population in India is above 65 years of age. Now, out of this, 70% of people are in the rural area and about 29% are in the urban area. And unfortunately, those who are in the urban area are also the type of people who have risen from the low socio-economic background. They have what they call as grey skills, or you call this population which is mid adulthood to late adulthood, you call it as a graying population. Why do you call that? Is because in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, they have many. But somehow, as age is increasing for them on one hand, the profile of careers has changed. Their knowledge and skills which they had earlier, which was useful, might be redundant now and somehow not very applicable. So this, they feel that whatever they have done, they are of no use. They need to, the adult learners need to polish their skills now so that their new learned skills and the change in technology which is happening, they complement each other and they go hand in hand. So it is very important for us to teach our adults, to make them reach in a learning phase. This is imperative. Now, if you look at India's population and if you see how many people are using mobile phones, mobile phone subscribers in our country are second in the world, next only to China. In our own country, there are 980 million people who are using mobile phones. However, those people who are still not part of it comprise of our senior citizens and women. This is very unfortunate. That means at some point they have been left behind by technology. There are about 6% of senior citizens who are above 50 years of age who do not use mobile phones at all till date. Now, when you see a total digitalization which is happening here, technology which is undergoing a change, this kind of technology change the senior citizens can use for their healthcare, for paying bills sitting at home, for learning new skills. Maybe they want to learn new knowledge, they want to access any new data, but somehow they are not able to do because they are not coping with the change in technology. They are not now active learners. They are reluctant. You give them any new gadget, any new technology, and they feel that it is too expensive. They are very unfamiliar towards it and they don't want to touch it, they don't want to access, they don't want to learn. This is what is called as apathy towards learning, which adults are exhibiting around the world. Now, the author who has given us this article, Dr. Thate, has conducted a beautiful study called SAGE, whereby she studied 360 senior citizens and she wanted to know what is their temperament, what is the way they are coping with smartphones and computers. Simple thing, which is considered to be everyday. We are accessing it and people nowadays cannot live without it. If you see the youth, smartphones and computers have become a part and parcel of life. Now, what kind of results did she get? The result which she get was extremely shocking. They said the senior citizens are using these facilities only for making calls and receiving calls. No other way they are using these gadgets, which means that they are using these gadgets for a very basic function. And it has been shown by her that when you talk about what are the percentage of applications they are using from mobile phones and computers, it is only 5%. That means basically 95% of the technology which they should be using, maybe to learn a new language, to make new friends sitting in different corners of the world, anything, gaining knowledge, gaining opportunity, socialization, which is there with them. They are not using this at all. They are very comfortable sitting in the earlier state the way they were. If you see the number of people who are staying in rural areas, technology can be used by them even for agricultural benefits. They are not even accessing it. There is some sort of mental block and rigidity where they just do not want to access technology. They do not want to adapt to the changes which are happening. This has got social, economical and psychological implications for them as well as the society. Why society? Because these adults who are there, they are the resources which the country can use. They are not doing it. Adults, because that somehow physically, emotionally, mentally, they feel that they are lacking in something. This has got further repercussions where it has been shown that 71% of our population, which is also comprising of our low socio-economic background people, they are just not ready for adapting to the new changes. They are not flexible enough, which is very sad for a country, because this huge amount of resource which people have, a country has, it's going underutilized. If you see the learning, maximum learning in human beings happen from the birth till they are in their adolescent stage. So till about 18, 19, 20 years, they are learning. Now, from 20 to 40 years, many developmental psychologists consider that learning becomes a plateau. That means almost stagnant. From 50s to 60s, there is a decline in every single capacity of a human body, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, etc. There is a slowing down of emotional processing. There is a lack of attention span. It reduces. The motor coordination starts declining. The visual and the hearing senses of people also starts declining. Memory becomes little weak. All these are related to aging. And of course, what does it do? It lowers the quality of life of adults and also reduces, very, very unfortunately, their functional independence. Now, as people age and they face all these losses, apart from that, they also face a situation where maybe their spouse is no more there. They might be losing their friends. Their daily routine is upset. After retirement, the whole structure of their family might change because new members join in, and their children might move out. After retirement, they might be even shifting to an entirely new geographical location. So there are so many surrounding factors in their lives which are undergoing major changes. And at some point they feel that they don't want to adapt to any of these changes, or let it happen and flow whichever way it's happening, and they develop a situation which is called apathy and which is also called as demotivation. Various strategies are available in the market now where all these aspects of theirs which are facing a decline can be reversed. There are various hearing devices, there are visual devices, there are devices which can be used, which can monitor their daily activities, which can help them to be as free and independent as they were when they were young. But somehow they are not accessing it. Hence the freedom, the joy of freedom tends to be lost in these people, and which should not be the case, because advance in science and technology has gone to the level where they can do many things, where whatever decline, whatever drawbacks they feel which is happening in their life, it can all be reversed. But the most important thing is the senior citizens should be active learners to utilize all the resources which are at their disposal. Now, if you take an example of any new technology coming in the market, and if a youth is trying to teach their grandparent how to use it, the attitude of theirs is, why do we need to learn? Haven't we managed without it all this while? So why should we learn? That is the logic which they give, which in current scenario is not logical at all. The other barrier which they have is negative attitude which they have towards social media. As they see the youth abusing social media, they have got a mental block thinking that everything dealing with social media is wrong, which is again a wrong thing. The flip side is social media can be used for your benefit, for accessing data, where so much of data is at your disposal, it's at your fingertips. You want to learn anything, you want to learn even about your own disorder, about any disease, everything is just a click away. But somehow the senior citizens have restricted themselves against it, and they say we don't want to use this technology because it's not good and it is a distraction for people. If you see another advantage of adult learners, if they cope with the changing times, they can be with their friends, they can have communication with their friends, family members sitting in any part of the world. Now, elderly people, when you create clubs, when you create learning opportunities for them, when you create other facilities, it could be a laughter club for them, and they are coming together, it's the peer group of adults interacting with each other. They have so much of knowledge, they have so much of wisdom to share, experience is at their disposal, where it can be beautifully used by these people. Their own physical and mental health is going to be better and better because they are interacting with people who are like them. Whatever decline and experience they are facing, someone else is also doing. So just meeting people periodically and sharing these is also important. A very beautiful quote is there which says, growing old is mandatory. That means all of us will age, but growing up is optional. That means how do you cope up with your growing age is something which you have to decide as adult learners. Now, the SAGE report, the project of Dr. Thate, gives us many things which can be done by adult learners. They said they are very fearful of boredom, loneliness and helplessness. Boredom, loneliness and helplessness. Why this is happening is because they have put themselves in a cage. They are bored because they are not intermingling with other people, could be because of their physical ailments. As they are not accessing the changes in technology, they are not in touch with many people whom they used to go and physically meet. Now, as they cannot do that physically, they are restricted towards the inside their homes. So something needs to be done where we need to design learning modules. We need to redesign the work life of these adults in such a manner where they are coming out of houses. They could be part of e-learning programs, they could be part of distance learning programs. What is important is they are coming out of their shell, meeting people who are like them, they are learning new technology, new problems, new advantages around them, anything. They are sharing their experiences, and it is also increasing their adaptability and their flexibility. They are opening up their mind, and any kind of intellectual stimulation which happens, it stops the decline which is going to happen in their mental processes and their physical, their body with age. But technology is giving them the option that you can fight it beautifully, and it has been also shown that people who are very mentally involved in physically stimulating tasks and they are very socially active, they suffer from problems related to mind and body linked to the age 70% lesser than people who are not involved in mentally stimulating tasks and who have withdrawn themselves as age progressed. Another aspect which has been shown is that these are the type of people who have lesser age related problems of brain deterioration, which is called as, could be Alzheimer. 70% less they are having. What more do adult learners need? They need to actually get involved in a mentally stimulating task where they are stopping all decline and they are keeping themselves active. Now, 25 to 50% of our adult population is the one which keeps complaining about the fact that they are forgetting, they can't remember words, they can't remember numbers, they can't remember names. Now, this is an anxiety which is playing inside their mind. If they come out, share their experiences and cope with the changing times beautifully, these things are not going to happen. They can keep themselves abreast with the changes which are happening. If they do that, boredom is taken care. They come out and interact with others. Where is the question of feeling lonely? Where is the question of feeling that they are unwanted? No. The moment they come out, and if it could be a yoga class, it could be a meditation class, it could be a laughter club. Whenever they come out, they are in some ways interacting with other people and they are forgetting about their problems of mind and body. Another beautiful quote: aging is not lost youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. That means don't regard age as catching up on you as though it's the end. No, deal with it with great zeal and determination. Whatever barriers are coming in your way, there are ways to cope up with it. There are many movies which have been made. There was a beautiful movie which was made in Kenya, where the 84-year-old gentleman, he decides to join elementary school and learn. Just like any other young child of the colony, he is really ridiculed. But when people see how happy he is after doing that, other people also start enrolling. Even we have made a picture called which is dealing with Swara Bhaskar, Nil Bata Sannata, where a school dropout mother joins schooling along with her daughter. And the benefits, it's a new bonding with the mother, it's a new feeling of empowerment which the mother experiences, which is amazing. Now, it has been shown that with age, the left hemisphere, which is basically dealing with our language, speech production, our basic processing, tends to start declining with age, which is also linked to anxiety, depression and feelings of helplessness. Fortunately for us, the right hemisphere, which is dealing with music, art, maths and other skills, spatial abilities, almost remains untouched. Now, how do you help your body to stop the declining in your left hemisphere? Neurobiologists have shown that when people are involved in a very socially active life and they are involved in very stimulating mental tasks, could be Sudoku, could be word puzzles, could be number games, this kind of a decline in the left hemisphere is taken care. You stop it then and there itself, which means aging adult has a super active and a youthful brain to help him out. Various audio-visual aids are there. Could be documentaries, could be going to films, could be interacting with people, doing many other activities, sitting on a table also they can do. It helps them a lot. So you have cases of people enrolling in various curriculum in different parts of the world. It is high time adult learning becomes a strong movement even in India. There's a very famous Malayalam story where there was an old physically handicapped postman. Now this postman incorporated a new commitment in his life. When he used to reach the last village to give the post to people, there were many senior citizens who would be waiting for him. And he used to teach them basic letters and alphabets in their native language. Now this helped all the adults so beautifully because it was a joint learning, peer group interaction of the same age bracket, which was stimulating for all. So what can you do for your aging adult population? You make them active learners, create distance education programs, ensure that they have enough choices. They don't have to be bothered about the fact that someone is assessing them. They don't need to get this percentage of marks. No. These interactions should and the learning process should be for learning with relaxation and with feeling happy about the fact that now they are mentally and physically active people. So any kind of evaluation should not be part of the learning programs of these people. You can have any kind of these programs. There are various things which might be of interest to you. When you want to design modules for adult learning, some might be more interested in astrology. Some might be very much interested in the share market, some in the financial market, or even if you want to teach them how do you want to invest money so that it lasts throughout their life. How can you be financially independent? Any of these things can be the curriculum. Ultimately, they are learning something new. You are empowering your adult learners. Very successfully, these programs have been used in USA, UK, Singapore, Australia, where very fantastic programs are in use. It's known as U3A. In India also, such programs have been used in Hyderabad, Allahabad and Mumbai, and very successfully. In Mumbai, there is a movement called Barrier Break. Now this teaches adult learners how to be completely independent, physically independent, mentally independent, emotionally independent and financially independent. Just teach them the skills, the various knowledge which they are going to use on a day-to-day setting. Make them interested in what's happening around their lives now. Make them interested in the changes which are happening, make them flexible and make them adaptable. The moment we break the mental barriers and blocks of the senior citizen, that they are happy whichever way they are, Why should they learn something new when their whole life, maybe 5 to 6 to 7 decades, they have managed without these changes? Why do they need to do it? No. Now this barrier needs to be broken. Only when this will happen will we have successful learning programs of adults. So if you see, if you summarize, we can say that senior citizens have one thing a lot at their hand, which is time. They just have to now choose the best learning opportunities which is coming their way. They should realize the fact that learning to cope with changing times, learning to cope with new technology, new relationship, new changes, it's something which is a call of the hour. It is going to help them fight with boredom, loneliness, and it's going to help them feel very, very happy. There will be no feelings of helplessness. Their dependence on the youth will be gone. So which means joys of freedom and empowerment they are going to experience, and all age related problems which come by the time people are in their late adulthood stage, which is dementia, Parkinson's disease, which is gradual deterioration in the brain functioning, everything will be stalled. So now programs need to be designed looking at these adult learners as the main focus. You need to have programs which get them out of their shells, make them interact with their peer group, and the focus should be that when you talk of them in terms of functional independence, financial independence, emotional independence, and sense of feeling empowered, you build up the self of these people and you make them feel that they are as active and fit as the youth. With this, we come to an end of this module. Hopefully you have understood the situation which our adult learners face. All of us will face at different points in our lives. But the important thing is these adult learner programs are going to address the issues of adult population only. The focus will be on adult learners, and it will help them to bring them to the main forefront of the society, and for their families they'll be as important as they were when they were young. So we need to, in India, design these programs and ensure that there is enough enrollment starting from the rural areas to semi-urban areas to urban areas, and across both the genders. People need to enroll for these programs. Thank you.